Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrew Newman from BIPS. I'm the chair of the Outreach Committee here, and it's my absolute delight to deliver and MC, as we say, Jane Lewison's talk this afternoon, 100 Years of Persian Performing Arts. Well, it is my absolute delight to introduce the talk this afternoon. I asked Jane if she would send me something to kind of start off by talking about who she is, and she sent me a bunch of bullet points which don't really do much justice to her and her accomplishments. So I'll quickly do the bullet points, but I would suggest if you're interested really in finding out more about Jane and her work, that you go on to academia.edu, and on there someplace, if you can access it, there's an interview that she did some time ago, which talks about herself and her work and her experience and such with Iran. At any rate, let me go off the bullet points that she very, in great humility, then gave to us. She is a research associate at the Department of Music School of Oriental and African Studies, the University of London. She is a research fellow at the Institute for Arabic and Islamic Studies at Exeter here in the UK. And she's also a scholar in residence at the Jordan Center for Persian Studies, University of California, or Irvine. She is director of the Golha Project. She's director of the Golistan Project, which is her discussion today. She lived in Iran from 73 through 1978 and is a graduate of Pahlavi University in Shiraz. She's published articles in various Persian and English journals, peer-reviewed, and she's been invited to speak and give presentations at various institutions in North America, Europe, and the Middle East. And she has been working on archiving Persian performing arts since 2005. So, Jane, this is great. Oh, may I mention, too, that BIPS has been a great supporter and extremely supportive of her work over the years, and we're delighted for her to give this talk and to be associated with this. So bang, Jane, you are on. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, I want to thank BIPS and Andrew and Charles and everybody else for inviting me to give this talk. And also thank BIPS for their ongoing support for the activities of the Golha Project and the Golistan Project in many, many different aspects. And the first was in 2005 when they helped me with my pilot project to start the Golha Project, and then on for many, many other aspects of the work up until very, very recently, and hopefully in the future. I'm sure that most of you are probably aware of the Golha Project, or at least of the Golha programs. And so in collaboration with the British Library, we were able to digitalize them. And then with the help of the Iran Heritage Foundation, we made an encyclopedic website, which covers 1,000 years of Persian poetry and music, and which is searchable and free to use on the internet. And so I'm just going to give a very extremely brief sort of overview of that. And then I'll dive into what I've been working on since 2015, which is the archiving of the performing arts of Iran from 1880 to 1980. And that includes film, theater, documentaries, journals about performing arts, radio programs, 78 recordings, 45 recordings and cassette recordings, personal and private archives by various people who have donated their archives to the project. So I'll go through all of that, but I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what we did with the Golha Project, and then we'll jump right into the Golistan Project. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, let me go here to here. So this is the site for the Golha, and basically it's you can we've made it a very granular search, so it makes it very easy for you to find whatever you're looking for, down to the most minute thing, and by all of these different rubrics, and it's completely in Persian and English. Whatever is in English is in Persian. And so let's say, we'll just give you one example here. So if you're looking for, let's say, a singer of the Avaz, and we'll just go down here to Shah Jahan, and then we want to hear him singing a ghazal, and we want to hear him singing in the gushe of B dot. So basically, even if you had your own collection and you had all these things in your collection, it would probably take you a week to find that kind of performance, that specific gushe. And so you click here, and wherever he has sung that gushe, if the internet is going to be kind to us, it will come up, and then and it will start to play. Right at the beginning of that gushe. And then if you want to listen to the whole program from beginning to end, and if you click on Shah Jahan, all the parts that he plays in, they'll change color, so it's easy for you to find. And then if you want to read along with it, you can, and you have all of the poems are there for you to read along. And if I can get back to the other part, back to program. And then we have here also the musical notes for hopefully, musical notes for all of the Taranés. Of course, you don't do the musical notes for, for the avaz, you just have it for the other one. And now I can't get back to there, but in any case, we'll. Okay, here we go. View file, Chrome, edit. Oh, well, okay. I'm just going to have to forego that. Okay, because I can't find how to get back to where I wanted to go. I may have to do something drastic, like stop sharing and then start again. Okay, so now I'm going to share again, and I'm going to this time go to the here we go. Oh, well, sorry, that happened again. I'm very sorry. This all worked out very well in our thing, but of course I didn't try to. Oh, here. Okay, this is what I'm gonna. Okay, so now I'm going to go back here, and we also have the biographies here, so you can. So they have the biographies in Persian and English of all the poets and all of the different people. And so it's basically a very comprehensive website for all of the poetry and music in the GOLHA programs. And oh, it's not sharing my screen. Oh, wow, that's really unpleasant. Share screen. Okay. Share. Okay, is it share? Can everybody see that now? I hope. In any case, well, okay. So basically, this is so I was just showing you how you can find the most minute part of any program that you want. But I'm going to forego this and go on to the Golestan project and go to the front page here. And basically, when I was collecting the GOLHA programs, I interviewed as many of the participants in the programs as I could, most of the people are no longer with us, people like Parviz Yahaki and Ali Tajvidi and Farimaz Payavar, Muini Kerman Shahi, Bijan Tariqi, Touraj Nagaban, Hussein Ibtaj, he's still with us, but Elahe Ophelia Parto, she's still with us, and Arzar Pejouez, she's still with us. Firuze Amir Moez, Mr. Nico Gad, one of the technicians, Mr. Shah Hosseini, one of the directors of the program, Mr. Moinian, director of the radio, and the Piernia family and their friends. And what I got from all of these interviews was an incredible sense of rejection and sadness because of the fact that, music was banned and none of their works could be played on the radio anymore. And also many of them told me that they had never even collected their own works because they felt they were stored perfectly well at the radio, so they could go and listen to them anytime they wanted. But of course, after the revolution, it was restricted access to these things and they couldn't access them. And so I really felt that they deserve to have their work and their efforts and the great contributions that they made to Persian culture remembered and made accessible. And then, so I began collecting these performing arts films and 78s and journals and radio programs and things like this. And as I was doing that, I realized that much of this material is very hard to access. Even for Iranian students in Iran, there's a lot of different protocols that they have to meet if these materials are stored or archived in various institutions, and so it's not easy for them. And it's certainly very difficult for people outside of Iran, scholars or musicians who want to, or artists who want to access this stuff. It's very difficult for them too. And what usually happens is that they will just throw these things up onto the internet with almost no archiving or curatorial information about them. And of course, a song is not just the product of the singer; it's the product of the composer, of the lyricist, of the technicians, of the musicians, and they all deserve to have their credit and be known and be recognized. And that goes to whether it's a film or it's a journal or whatever it is. And so I thought it was important to do that in such a way that everybody would be recognized, everybody who had contributed, and also that it would be very easy to access and free to the public. So the business model, if we want to say there is a business model, it's a public library. So just go through these. So this is the front page here. And then here, if you click here, you see a little video describing it. And then there's more information about the various advisors that we have and the people who are on the board. And we've basically broken it up into 3 sections here: watch, listen, and read. And then they have subsections of film, TV programs, videos, music, interviews, etc. And then we're going to have a blog. We don't have much on there right now. And then these are the institutions who've helped us along the way and supported us, as we depend on support from, Iranophobic institutions and Iranophobic people who are in love with Persian poetry and culture. And so I'll just go straight on here to the film collections. And well, let me do this first. Let me first show you the global search. If you, for instance, if you type a word in here, so, and it's all completely Persian and English, but because I don't really have a Persian keyboard to be typing in Persian here, I'm going to do the typing in Persian in English. So you type the name that you're looking for, and anybody, anything related to Puran would come up, and you click on the one that you're looking for. And I clicked on her name in general. So all of the films that Puran was in will be shown there, and they're all watchable. You can watch them all if the internet is friendly, and then all of the people who were involved with it are all there, and all of these are what they call hot buttons. So you can click on them, and any other things that we have about that person that was Jamal Vafai. These are films that he has been involved with, and again, and then any other audio or if he's mentioned in any journals. And then again, all of these are clickable. So you can watch the whole film if you like. So that's, let me go back here to the Puran here. Let me repeat. And so we have all of her films there, and then we have all the things, the radio programs that she was involved in, and all of the 78s and 45s that we've indexed. We have a massive amount of material, and it's only when something has been, when a particular item has been curated and indexed, that it becomes accessible on the site. So things are constantly being added to the site all the time because they're constantly being curated. And we have probably only about 14% of the things that we have digitalized are curated yet. But it's an ongoing process. And then these are journals that she was mentioned in. And when you click on them, where she is, or whoever you have asked for, will come up. And it should be, so where the part that she is in that journal will be colored a little bit, so that then you can just, she's just in these illustrations here. And then you should be able to, then you could look at it if you wanted to. And then here, so let me go now to the films. Okay, so here you can, search by year if you want, or by director, or by actor, or other. And other, these are all the different types of ways you can search. And you could just, put any, and you click on any name that you want there. So let's see if we want to click on, let's see, musicians. And the musicians, all the names of the musicians will come up, and you can click on the musician that you are looking for. And then it will find it for you, and then you can play it. And then we come here to, we don't have any of the TV programs indexed yet. We have quite a few of these are TV serials. So, things like Dajan Napoleon, Efrit de Machine, Talcho Shirin, and all of these different serials that were broadcast on Iranian television before the revolution. And then you have here, these are like one-off kinds of videos. So like this is a video of Marzieh and Lotfi giving a concert at Rudecki Hall. And these are interviews. And then we have a lot of other ones that we haven't indexed yet. They will be put up, as I said, as things go along. And then you can go to the radio programs. We have imported all of the information from the Golha site into this site. So you can, the same, all the programs from the Golha site are here, but also a lot of other programs we have also. So we have here, these are all the Golha, of course, but Shere Musiqi Iran, this was by Mr. Hoshnam, and he goes through the biography of various musicians. And this is another similar program by Ruhollah Khalidi, and he goes through the biographies. And then this is Saz Sukhan, which was produced by Ruhollah Khalidi. A lot of the information that he goes over in the Saz Sukhan is then included in his 3-volume history of Persian music. But here he gives the musical examples and shows how you can jump from one dasgah to another, and what gouche you could use as a bridge between one and the other. And so this is one of my favorites. It's called Sha'aran Qasi Miglian, or The Poets Tell Stories. And basically it's all of the not all of them, but many of the classic Masnavis in Persian literature, and they're produced as radio plays. And anybody who's tried to teach Masnavi to even heritage students or people who are just learning Persian, it's a kind of difficult genre because it's hard until you get into it. It's hard to tell when God is speaking, when Pir Changi is speaking, when Molana is speaking. But when you have it as a radio play, then because the voice changes with each character, you can get into it better. And they're all, of course, you can listen to them all. This was
روی ننهند و در آن گام نگذارند، زیرا سبب گمراهی و سیه روزگاری خواهد شد. پسران پند پدر را به گوش گرفتند و به عزم دیدار شهرهای کشور روان شدند.
عزم ره کردند آن هر سه پسر، سوی املاک پدر رسم سفر. در طواف شهرها و قلعه هاش، از پی تدبیر دیوان و معاش، دست بوس شاه کردند و وداع.
And so we have episodes from the Shahnameh in this collection. We have episodes from Attar. We have episodes from Nizami, from Vashi Bafri, and all these various Nizami, and all these various the famous Masnavis of Persian literature. And of course, all of the mythology and the roots of Persian culture are embedded in these Masnavis. So it's really important that, particularly heritage students can access these things. And then we come to music, and we have, there were, I would say, maybe 6,078 recordings done of Iranian music. And up until now, we have indexed about 2,500 of these. And as we index more, they will come on. And then you can, again, we can, if we want to search here, search for Kama. And so then all of her recordings will come up, and you can listen to any one that you want here. And we have the labels. We don't put them up unless we have the labels, because the information on the labels is very important, because it tells you when it was made, and and who accompanied the musicians. گردش فروردین یا به گلزار و ببین چه می کند بوی گل صفای دلجوی گل And so here, if you wanted to see what other programs, what other records we have produced by Polyphone, some people want to see it sorted by the name of the what do you call it, of the name of the record company. And so you have all of the recordings that we have from Polyphone here. And so here you have another recording. This is from Madraseh Ali Musiqi of Vaziri. And then you can, of course, again, they're all going to be playable. Now this one doesn't say on the label, but but we know from catalogs and whatever that it was Ruha Gies singing, and she sang many songs for the and so go back here, I'll go back to music here, and we have here the type of recording. So we have 45s, 78s, cassette tapes, and reel-to-reel tapes. So we've only indexed a few of the 45s. We have about maybe 3,000 or 4,000 45s to index. And again, they're all, with all the information that you need on there. And then we have here, we've indexed now, these are, this was a project also that BIPS helped me with, and these are the archive of Chungye Ginich, the Japanese musicologist who was in Iran in 1962, and BIPS supported this project by giving me a travel grant to go to Japan and collect these tapes from Professor Ginich, and so these again, they're all indexed as to what is on them. And, you can see here, goes, step by step. This is a collection. He was recording the 78 recordings from the collection of Minoui. He was very friendly with Minoui when he was in Iran. And most of the 78s that he recorded are from that, from Minoui's collection. And then we have here some 78s, some cassette tapes. And these are a collection I recently got, and these were a private collection of Bijan Samandar, who is a lyricist and tar player and specialized in folk tunes from Shiraz. And so Mortaza, the singer, the Iranian pop singer, was given these by Bijan's family when he passed away, and they were languishing in his closet. And when he met me, he said, could you, rescue these? And so we were able to digitalize them, and again, these are all indexed here. To find whatever you want here. And of course, many of them, the lyricists, sometimes it's him because he was a lyricist, but sometimes it's somebody else, or sometimes we don't know, it's just a folk tune that nobody really knows who wrote it. And and then recently I was also given the personal archive of Manucher Sahai, another lyricist and singer from the pop, what we call the classic pop era, and we also, Professor Yor Shatter has given us his archive, and Hossein Umami gave us his reel-to-reel tapes too. These have been digitalized but not indexed yet, so they will be accessible at some point. And then we have interviews, audio interviews by various people, and I will eventually put my own interviews up here too, but most of these people are no longer with us. And
اسمم اسماعیل، نام فامیلیم ادیب، شهرت ادیب خونساری است. من در بچگی در خونسار علاقه پیدا کردم به موسیقی. علت چه بود؟ شخصی آمده بود تهران، یک گرامافون قدیم از اون گرامافون‌های بوری قدیم آورد خونسار، ما فریخته شدیم. وقتی آواز و ساز و موزیک گوش دادم خیلی فریخته شدم. پدر من یک مردی بود روحانی، اهل علم، و اینها مانع بودن که من چرا باید برم مثلا موسیقی یاد بگیرم و چه. اونها خواستن منو بفرستن در نجف اشرف و تعلیم عربی و چیزای دیگه. اتفاقا من مخالف بودم. سر همین موضوع من با پدر و مادرم قهر کردم. در 17 سالگی رفتم اصفهان.
So, you know, they tell their story, their life stories, and how they came to be, you know, the famous contributors to Persian music that we know. And then here we have also journals, and these journals, almost all of these journals were scanned on the auspices of a grant from the British Library Endangered Archives project, and I was able to go to Tehran and make arrangements with various archives and private collectors and libraries in Iran, and scan these journals. And we have been able to scan probably almost complete. Maybe there's one or two issues missing, but we have been able to scan اطلاعات بانوان، فصلنامه تئاتر، فیلم هنر، هالیوود، هنر و سینما، مجله موزیک رادیو، مجله موزیک ساده، نقش و نگار، نگین، مجله رادیو، رودکی، سپید و سیاه، ستاره سینما، تماشا، تالش، توفیق، تهران مصور. And these we are indexing them in Persian and English. And so, you know, you can find what you're looking for here. You can, you know, the name of the publication. You can search by the name of publication. You could search by year. You could search by the subject, and then you can search by other. So, you know, you can search by article title or illustration. And of course, in the music magazines, you're going to have a lot of musical notes and all of these different things by keywords, and they're all, and you can, so if we search by article title, and then we come here, oh, wait a minute, no, sorry, I probably haven't been put in yet, in any case. So, but I will go on to, let's put here, let's see whose name we're going to put here. Let's say Saba. And if we have any journals with his, so this is, he has an article here of something about him or by him in this journal, Chang. And then here, where his name comes, should be, oh, it should have had the it should change color, but that one doesn't. I'll try another one. Let's see, journals. Okay, so you see, we have them, all of the titles of the articles are here, and in English, and then they're also in Persian. And I must say, the one that was most difficult to translate for indexing was Tawfiq, because it's all, you know, it's all satire. And so if we go here to Tawfiq, and so these are the very early issues of Tawfiq. And basically what I did was I asked the people who were indexing them, and basically they have to flip through the journal and write all the article names and everything. It's done manually. And then we create lists of that and put it in as metadata into the back. But you see here, and so you have the names here and of the articles, but you know, sometimes you get words like, for instance, al-Baki, and it just, and of course, one of the main things in Tawfiq is Khar, because they're always talking about Khar and they have the Hezbollah Khar and everything like that. So we use the name jackass instead of donkey, because of course, jackass has more of that sort of whimsical or even semi-negative connotation. And of course, then you can also make other words like asinine. So when it's haraki, because it would make no sense in English, donkey-like, it wouldn't make any sense at all. So you can search these in Persian and English here, anything you like. And then we go back here. We have also, we're putting up documents here. And we have some pamphlets. We don't have many up yet. We don't have this one. We have lots of different pamphlets and brochures from exhibitions and brochures from festivals and things like that. And then we also have, as I say here, documents. These are some. We'll have a lot of other documents that we will be indexing, putting up. These are scans from the correspondence at the EMI, or His Master's Voice archive, that I did one time when I was doing research there. And so basically, the thing is that, as I said, this material is difficult to access in Iran, even if it is archived in various institutions, because there's so many different protocols, and some things are on lists that they're not allowed to be seen unless with a special permission. And then once you do get to see them, sometimes you can't get a copy of it or something. You just have to read whatever you can and take notes there. Or even in the West, some of this may be in various institutions, but you have to go there to look at it, and almost very little of it is online. And if it is, it's not indexed, so you have to flip through page by page looking for something. And if people who are artists and emerging artists, if they don't have access to their pishkesvat and those people that came before them, they're going to be building, castles in the sky. You need to have a strong foundation in your own cultural origin in order to create enduring works of art. And so it's important that they have access, like many people today, if you say, young people today, if you say the name RF to them, they're going to think you're talking about the pop singer RF. They're not going to even come to your mind that you might be talking about RF Ghazvini. So that's important for that reason. And the other reason is for historians who want to write the cultural history of Iran in the 20th century. These works of art, they define the aspirations and the hopes of the people and their dreams, and sometimes reflected the contemporary events. And as far as the journals are concerned, they recorded what was produced, and there's articles criticizing and praising various things, interviews with people, articles by various artists that, as historians of popular culture and of culture of 20th century Iran, it's essential to have these things accessible to you, and be able to find what you're looking in them, rather than just to have to flip through page by page. And some of these things, as I said, they are in various archives or maybe at the various institutions, but you have to go there quite often and look at them. You can't access them online. And certainly if they're in Western institutions, an Iranian could never go there, and getting a visa would be impossible. And for many people, if they can't travel across the country to various institutions, or to Canada, or to Paris or London or somewhere, and so they are students, they don't have any money, so they need to have it freely accessible to them if we really want to create an awareness of what went on in 20th century Iran. So that's about it, I think, unless anybody has any questions. But as I say, this is an ongoing project. And I have one little PowerPoint slides just to show you a few of the things that are coming in, and we're going to be trying to, I have to stop sharing to go to the PowerPoint. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll go over here to the PowerPoint. And so let's see here. Oh, now I have to share my screen again. Okay. Now I'm going to share it here. Okay. So this, the Goldstone site that I just showed you now, it hasn't been launched to the public yet, but this is the link to the demo site that we have. And if you want, you can go onto that site and, go to the Contact Us department there and, put your contacts in, and as soon as it's launched, you'll be informed. Or you can, the Farhang Foundation in California is going to be doing a public launching of the site. And so if you put your name on their mailing list, then you will also be informed when it goes live to the public. And once it's live, every time we put a new something is indexed. So if a let's say a 78 recording or a new journal or a new film or something like that is indexed, then it will shoot out notices on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all these other things that people have social media that they're paying attention to. And this is a scan of these wax cylinders, which was the technology, recording technology that came before 78s. And there are these two collections which we have been in talks with the owners to try to see if we can somehow or another get the sound. This is a box of that was found in an old fort that was then became part of the Miras Farhangi of Iran. But the people who owned it, they said, you can do whatever you want with the contents. And then this was in that fort. It's in the Char Mahal Bakhtiyar era area of Iran. And of course, the great holy grail of recorded music is the voice of Arif Ghazvini. And we haven't come across a recording yet, and we're hoping that one day, if we can find it, it'll be on one of these wax cylinders. And then these are the wax cylinders that belong to Mayer Malek, or Dus Ali Khan. And he was a relative of this man, Dr. Maulana. And he's rather reclusive, Dr. Maulana. And so he doesn't allow people to access these things very often. But my research associate was able to get a long video interview of him, but it's like about an hour long. And so I just showed you a picture of what he has. He describes each one and the condition and what they make, because what's written on the box may not be what's on the actual recording. But we hope at some point to be able to get these too. And then this is a video of a collection of 800 cassettes that was given to the project, which we're in the process of digitalizing. We have about 500 of them digitalized. And I was consulting with Ali Akbar Khan Moradi, the very famous Dotar player from Kermanshah. And he was able to identify these the songs and the melodies, and in some cases even the singers. And they're basically what we have seen in here, basically two different types of melodies. One is the moor and one is the hurrah. The moor is sung at morning, when you're morning ceremonies after somebody passes away, and the hurrah is at other times. And there's a female moor and a male moor, so the ladies have their own rituals and the men have their own rituals. And I just had this one video clip. This video clip is actually not from one of the cassettes, but from another research that Mr. Kazemi did. And he went around on video recording this kind of folk music. And I'll just play a little bit of this for you here. And according to Akbar Muradi, these are extremely ancient form of singing that comes way before what we know as the Dasko. And you can see how they're using their voice in this very particular manner. So that's just a little taste of the type of thing that in this collection of 800 cassettes, but some of them are quite different. Sometimes you have they're playing with a sorna or there's a drum or something like that. And so we have digitalized about 500 of these so far, and we are going on to digitalize the rest. And once they are indexed, then they'll be made available. And so they're in the 2 main Kurdish languages, and then many of the dialects, and these belong to all of the small villages running along the Zagros Mountains from Kermanshah all the way down to below Fars. And this is from in the Lak dialect, as he described. So these are things that are coming on in the future, along with the rest of the archives that we are indexing one by one, and they'll be made available. And anyone who is on the mailing list will be informed by social media every time a new element comes on. So that's my talk, and thank you for your patience in listening. And I hope within the next few months it will be live, the whole thing. And but it's an ongoing project. And anybody who wants to help or support in any way on the demo site, we have the contact page. We also have a donate button if anybody wants to help in that way. Thank you for listening. I'll hand back over to Andrew.
I think this is just terrific, Jane. Congratulations. I just think this is marvelous. I have to say that in the autumn, I think it was when we were talking about this, you very kindly sent me a website, and I started playing around with this, and I just got lost, completely lost. It was just absolutely marvelous. So many congratulations. We do have a couple of questions here, and so I'll take them in reverse order because that's the way this screen is doing it, of when they came in. And here's someone who is saying, thank you so very much for sharing the narratives of this truly transformative project, and then goes on to ask a question about whether you have anything on the Tehran Opera Company from 1967 to 78. In particular, the opera Carmen from, in 1974 and 1978. Very specific. You're muted, Jane.
Have some of the performances from Rudaki Hall, and I think that's what she's talking about. That's where those performances were put on. I don't have the whole list memorized, but we do have some, and they will be, as I said, as they're indexed, they will be put up, and we're always trying to find more of these kinds of recordings, and the people have been very generous. They contact me and they say, from all over the world, they contact me and say, I have this archive, can you do anything with it? Can you help with it, and whatever. And so it's I'm going to stop sharing here. There we go. And so, it's an ongoing thing, and we do have some from the operas. And as I say, I don't have it on my brain right now exactly which ones we do, but we do have some from the performance at Rudaki Hall and the operas there.
So again, the answer is to get on the social media and get on your various lists.
Yeah.
So when stuff comes out, bang, you get a notice of it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great. Okay. The second question was asking could you put the website address of this fantastic Golestan collection here, and you have done. So there you are. The third question is, let me just make sure I haven't missed any. Right, is one that I'll read out because it's quite nice and certainly expresses my own feeling, and I'm absolutely certain for many other feelings as well. I think I speak for everyone here, all students of Persian and Iranian culture, and expressing my extreme gratitude to Ms. Lewison for this incredible work. I would love, the question continues, to know more about the people who helped her with the project and where are they situated, and maybe you could talk a little bit about them.
I have some people in California, Mr. Siavash Mohaqqeq, who has very generously been indexing, rather digitalizing material, all of the reel-to-reel tapes he has digitalized for me, totally pro bono. And then, as I mentioned, Ali Akbar Muradi and Mortaza, the singer. And then also we have some research associates in Iran who help with, finding cataloging information. And then we have also some research associates in England who are actually entering the metadata. And then Salman Mohammadi, who is doing most of the cataloging for the radio programs and the music. And then, of course, we had the people like, of course, the British Library and the Moinian Foundation and the Amanat family and British Institute of Persian Studies, the Persian Heritage Foundation, and all of these different foundations, which I had on the front page of the site. You can see them all. The Farhang Foundation and the Amini Foundation. These are mostly Iranian families and Iranophobic institutions like the British Institute of Persian Studies, the Persian Heritage Foundation, Farhang Foundation, stuff like that.
Right, another one, wonderful projects, congratulations, and many thanks for all your enterprise, generosity of spirit, and hard work from which so many people can benefit. Someone wants to get in touch with you directly, and I assume can do that by contacting you via the Golestan
site. If they just do info@golestan.org, they'll get to me.
Info@golestan.org, okay?
And that's Golestan with an I.
Yes, Golestan, yes.
Yeah, the one with an E was already taken by some football club or something. Oh, I had to spell it a little bit uniquely.
An anonymous person says, thank you and congratulations for your amazing work. And then someone asks, is Golestan going to replace Golha? That is, I guess, are you going to continue to work on Golha, or is everything new going to then shift to the Golha bits on the Golestan site?
Well, we haven't really made that decision yet. That will probably come down to an economic decision because it's costs to keep these things on the air. A certain amount even though it's just, there's just like an annual maintenance and stuff like that, but it costs over $2,000 to keep it running. And if anything happens where something actually has to be fixed, then that costs on top of that. So it will come down to an economic decision. But for the time being, we haven't made that decision yet. If push comes to shove, we'll have to just, as I said, we did migrate everything to all the information to the Golestan site. But there are people who have gotten used to using the other site, and it's just audio. There's no video or anything on there. So, it's we haven't made that decision yet.
Okay. Someone says, thank you so very much for this wonderful project. My question is about the movies. Do they or will they have English subtitles?
Well, the ones that we're not putting subtitles on, as it is, we have a real battle getting financing just to do whatever we're doing. And of course, putting subtitles on is extremely big cost. So the ones that do have subtitles, they will have subtitles. But we have English descriptions of the scenario and Persian descriptions too. So there's a description of a scenario, but it's beyond our economic means to put subtitles on all these things.
Another question says, thank you so very much for all your efforts. It is magnificent what you have realized. And then goes on to say that they have some LPs with soundtracks from movies. And so they should get in touch with you, I guess.
Yeah. info@goldstone.org. That'll get to you.
Right. Okay. Terrific. And then the last one I have is thank you so very much for this great contribution.
Okay, great.
Any other kinds of questions? I just think, Jane, this is absolutely terrific. And I can remember we were talking about this again. I was in Iran myself for a couple of years in the 70s. And of course, the radio programs used to come on. And when I heard way back when that you were putting these up on the original Golha site, I started downloading them and just got absolutely completely lost. And, you know, I listened to them, especially my memories are of being in Kermanshah and listening to the Badagasab's, programs there and all those programs. Absolutely delightful. So I think this is just absolutely terrific. And thank you very much for all your endeavors. The sites are all up there. People know how to get in touch. Do I see another question? Another question. Can you digitize reels? I have some rare ones for your project.
Yes. Many of the whole archive from the Japanese person, and many of the other archives that we have are reel-to-reel recordings, and we can easily do that. As I said, my friend Siavash Mohaqiq, he has been doing that, just as a labor of love.
Right.
I don't know if we could afford to do it if he wasn't helping us, because he's doing such a beautiful job. He does it at a very high resolution, so that if later on you want to clean it up or something like that, you have the ability to do that. But
So they should get in touch with you directly at
info@goldstone.org. Yeah.
Well, if there's no more questions, can I thank you for your efforts here? We had about 88 or so, or I'm sure most people were just absolutely amazed and enthralled with this, as I was when I had a little bit of a taste of it in the autumn. And so I set aside some time to get into this. This is just a wonderful project. Wonderful.
There was something I see here in the
Oh, here's another one.
questions.
Yep.
When they ask about Lenny, my husband, Leonard Lewison, of course, everything we did was a partnership. It was a combined partnership. I helped him with his books, and he helped me with this, particularly in the Golha, with all of the transcripts and finding that a lot of the poets were unnamed, and we had to find out who they were. And he was miraculous like that. I would give him a poem and he would say, oh, well, that must be Timurid, and this, that. Look in such and such a divine. I think you'll find it there. He was amazing like that. And of course, I'm sort of winging it on my own now, but everything we did together.
And now it's coming out. One other question asks, somebody's got loads of cassette tapes, not sure about their dates and singers. Would you be interested?
Well, the best thing is, because sometimes these are commercial tapes that have been put out, and there are lots of copies floating around, so it doesn't make sense just to spend the time digitalizing them. But if they have a list, or if they want to send pictures of the actual containers, and if there's something written on the containers, then we can investigate that. Again, at info@goldstone.org.
Okay, terrific. All right. Well, Jane, thank you once again. Thank you to our audience. Can I encourage anybody who's not already, please to get on the BIPS email address list for notices of our future events, and also to contact info@goldstone.org to make sure to get on the Goldstone various social media sites and other informational sites, so that you can stay ahead of what's happening as it actually happens. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks to my colleagues at BIPS for all the tech, without which I certainly would have been lost. They are absolutely adept at this, and any questions I have and any problems I have, they're absolutely able to fix it. So thank you to Sylvia and Astrid. And may I thank Jane once again and all the attendees again, and bid you a fond farewell from Edinburgh, as you can see, where the sun is always rising or setting or whatever. Thank you then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jane. Bye-bye.